All right. Shalom Yashala. Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Waharaka Kodash Brakatham. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akion pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquat that are listening. Of course, you know what I'd like to get into is it's just the whole current state of Jake. More so the 2/3 aspect, and then Jake who in the faith, and they're getting too big for their britches, because Jake will sit there and flip on the Most High, bro. Jake has a lot of resentment towards Yahweh, man. And it'd be Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Just you know what I'm saying? Because it's not the fact that we're out there on the highways and byways. It's the fact that order and correction is being highly spoken of in a high regard and being reverenced. Okay, as it should be. The word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is no joke. It's a thing. It's a thing of beauty. Are you going to be cut? Yes, of course. Good. Being cut by scriptures is nothing more than spiritual criticism, bro. Oh, let me tighten my thing up. But Jake is so, this place has just really destroyed us, man. The women aren't women anymore. The men aren't men anymore. You could damn near say, literally, of how ass backwards this society is in Babylon. Because what Babylon means, what? Confusion. And that's where we're at, as a nation, man. But that's why the Lord is moving on Jake, how he's moving on them. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 11. Be a little lengthy. It's okay. Utilize the time the Lord, give us. So, get through this. Abaratazah. This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 11. Hath the nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doeth not profit. Jake has nothing to glory of in this society, man. And any little shine that Jake get, it's really scraps compared to the elite of Edomites and then of other nations, But when Jake fully invests in something, hey, Jake, no one does it like Jake. We know that. Why? Because we're heirs to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. That's why. We're the lost, 12 tribes of Yasharallah, man. The 12 lost tribes of Israel, man. Okay? We were made a special people unto the Most High. Is just what? This chapter talks about our fickleness towards Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man. And that's what it's talking about. Backslide, being fickle, being unstable. Okay, being double-minded. Okay, this is verse 12. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, said Yahweh. Lord basically saying like, man, look at this. It's this is definitely a time to really analyze. It's like, yo, like peep this out. Like the nerve of you niggas, man. So the Lord is not feeling the disrespect. All the Lord does is match your little weak ass energy out here, man. Okay? The Lord just matches Jake's little weak ass energy, and the Lord will let you go through it. You so big and bad, you have it all figured out, bet. And that's how the Lord is dealing with the nation of Yasharallah, man. And don't nobody give a damn how you feel, man. You don't give a damn about how Yahweh Bashim Yahshua feels. So the Lord is supposed to cater to you? No, sir. Verse 13, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. Okay. So basically you've forsaken the Most High and his only begotten son and his prophets, man. That's what you've done. Jake has settled for stagnant water. Jake has settled for filth, bro. Jake has settled for scraps, you know, and it may not seem that way because, of course, you go into the history of the diaspora or what have diaspora, the slave trade, and you think about how Jake was dealt that hand. It's because of these instances, these examples in the scriptures, man. Jake is very unappreciative of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua. Jake will do any and everything but what the Most High asks you to do, and then get an attitude because we on the highways and byways promoting promoting positivity. Bro, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua is positive. It's a balance, though. Only way it's on the negative is if you've pissed off the Most High. It's gonna be negative in your favor, man. You want to stay in the positive with the Most High? Hey, do what you need to do to the best of your ability. So says the scriptures, man. Let me read that in its entirety in verse 13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out of cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Okay, and that's very clear cut. Okay, Jake can't sit still. Jake can't do nothing, man. And other than be pieces of shit in the society, man. Jake can't do nothing but other than whatever benefits them, which will really benefit you if you adhere to Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, man. Okay. So Jake is forsaking the living waters. So Jake is not going to hold or retain this knowledge and wisdom and understanding, man, because you pretty much turning your back on the Most High. You giving the Most High the bird. To be quite honest, ain't nobody trying to hear that, And then when your when your calamities come, everybody has to stop what they doing. Everybody, oh, look at me, woe is me, bro. Nah, the Most High, the Most High ain't on that, and more Jake is finding that out. Okay, here it is. It's the option to rock with the fountain of living waters, but Jake would rather just be empty, be vain, be stagnant. Okay, so Jake is not going to obtain or maintain Yahweh Bashem Yahshua because they not seeking to obtain it. Verse 14, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Verse 15, the young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste, and his cities are burned without inhabitant. Okay. In other words, Jake was getting served, man. Okay. Jake is getting served by by the Egyptians in this chapter right here. Okay. Verse 16. As a matter of fact, so let me read verse 15 again. The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant. Okay. Verse 16. Also the children of Napah. Okay. When you read that in the NLT, that's another word for Memphis, which is another city in Egypt. Also, the city of Nof, or Nof, I believe, when translating in English. Also, the children of Nof and Tahaphanes, which is another city in Egypt, have broken the crown of thy head. Okay, Jake is going to stay getting served up until Jake hunkers down and humbles themselves or get judged, man. The Lord gonna rock with who he's gonna rock with, man. The Lord, in other words, the Lord's gonna have mercy on who he's gonna have mercy on. If you want to be a knucklehead, you want to continue to feel you got it, hey, the Lord's gonna let you have it. Point blank, period. Verse 17. Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, and that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy power when he led thee by the way? Yeah, the Lord did all this for his people, and Jake is just unappreciative. Just real unappreciative assholes, man. Okay. Verse 18. And now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt to drink the waters of Sior? Or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria to drink the waters of the river? Verse 19. Thine own wickedness shall correct thee. Okay. You can only be smote so much, man. So, hey, coming into, being called to do this work, man, it's going to correct you one way or the other, man. You either going to get right or get left. Verse 19. Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, saith Yahweh, power of hosts. Okay? So it would behoove you to have a healthy fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Now, of other events in past times, from beautiful examples from the scriptures until 2025, up until all the way till today, if you can't see that the Most High is in control, it's curtains for you, bro. It's just curtains for you. You have no fear. You have no healthy fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. You in this spirit like you got it. Guess what? The Most High is going to let you have it, man. Because Jacob just truly have become unappreciative, man. In Babylon. And that further proves, man, the so-called white man Esau has so much to pay for, man. Because Jake has been having their head up Esau's ass, trying to emulate everything he does, only for it to not work. What we need to emulate is what? Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. That's what we need to emulate, the examples that was given to us through scripture, man. Because trying to do what Esau does never works for Jake. You dig? It never works. And it was never intended for it to work for Jake anyway. Why you think all the Constitution, the amendments, bro? That was never to cater to Jake. That was to keep niggas at bay and keep them on the bottom. All designed by who? The Most High, our Heavenly Father. It is how everything's working now was designed to be that way. Okay, because Jake in times past and present is just haughty as hell, man. Just very haughty, very proud, and ain't got shit to glory of. But wickedness, Jake just bask in the wickedness, and that's Jake's identity, basking in wickedness. We need to be what? Basking in what? Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. That's what we need to glory of. Okay, verse 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Jake wasn't keeping that word, wasn't staying committed. Jake has been playing the harlot. Okay, being what? An unfaithful wife. That's what Jake has been doing, man. Playing the harlot, you know, as the saying goes, every time Dick and Harry. Anything aside, anything opposite of Yahweh Bashim Yashah, hey, Jake's gonna rock with that. Because you know, like we say, man, the flesh feels good, but the flesh can for sure seal your judgment. All for the thrill of a few minutes, man. The Lord can have your world upside down in seconds. You know? Verse 21. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Yeah, Jake just flipped the script. Jake goes to shiny things, man. You put some shiny in front of Jake, they lose it. And then what? Then they lose favor in the eyes of the Most High. You're no good to me. You a hoe. Yeah, that's just like a relationship. It's just like if you catch your old lady cheating, and that's what the nation of Yashar has been doing, has been an unfaithful, unappreciative ass broad to the Most High. Straight up. You're not a lady. You're not a woman unto the Most High. You're a complete whore, man. That's what the nation has been, and it's what the nation is currently. But what the Lord has had mercy on us, and still is showing mercy, but only to the elect, man. Those men who are doing the work. And Albaratazar, I'm amongst one of those men, but I know, like I always say, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yashah, I do believe I'm on the front lines with those men, whether it's on the highways and byways, whether it's live shows, or whether it's just a lesson or just fellowship. I believe I'm interacting with men of the Lord. I believe I'm interacting with the elect. Okay. But Jake is, like I always like to say, degeneracy and problematic behavior is rewarded here in Babylon. It's rewarded and held in high regard. It's so bad. It's like, bro, just the simplest things are just deemed lame because it's not degenerate. And now that Jake is like, and granted, Jake has always been under the microscope because what? That's been our punishment. Come on now. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Read that. The curses are alive and well, deservingly so, because Jake continues to be proud, man. Verse 22. For though thou wash thee with nitre and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith Yahweh, thy power. Okay, so even with the strongest cleaning agent, you're filthy. You filthy. Can't do nothing with you. You're filthy, man. You hoeing it up. You're as they say in the modern times, hoe phase. Jake's hoe phase gets them the judgment they deserve, man. Jake playing the harlot, you're gonna get judged. And it's not hard for Jake to comprehend. It's just, Jake is tired. Jake is through. And, we just awaiting a reset. We're awaiting Yahweh Shah HaMashiach to return, get his lick back. The elect get their lick back. And, hey, Babylon destroyed, in captivity, these nations falling in line. That's what we're looking forward to. We're not looking forward to another weak ass 1,000 years here. Verse 23. How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam, see thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary traversing her ways. A wild a wild ass used to the wilderness that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure in her occasion, who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month they shall find her. Okay, so you've been doing all this BS. You trying to present yourself as if though, oh, I'm good, I'm straight. No, you're not. Jake is terrible. Jake looks terrible, man, and there's no way getting around that, man. You sit there and give Jake sound advice according to Yahweh Bashem Shah, and they still gonna have those excuses as well. You know, oh, well, that's an old book. A lot of books Jake read is old, but they ain't got no problem of applying those to their life. Okay. Bury me, Baba Kusha. Verse 25. Withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from thirst, but thou saidest, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. And that's what Jake will do. Jake will sit there and tell you, I'm blessed and highly favored and so forth, but just out here just doing the most and scoffing and like, bro, Jake is the ultimate backsliders, bro. And it just is what it is. Yeah, we gonna keep getting on Jake's ass, bro. You know, this is a time to really reflect on what have you, and people are legitimately out here like playing games. Like, bro, like who who does that in a time like this? I'll tell you, people who have no fear of Yahweh Bashem Shah. You know, that's who, man. And Jake will, Jake think they could tiptoe around and get to the kingdom like it's all clear, like it's all good. Like, nah, bro. The Most High has got other plans for you, bro. You know, if y'all could bear me right quick, Baba Kusha. Let me see. Okay, let me continue reading. This is verse 26. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets. Okay? So Jake, I don't want to misquote it. Man, let me look that up, Baba Kusha. Let me look that up. I like that. I like that saying too. So just like scriptures, definitely don't want to misquote it. First and foremost, the scriptures are key. I just this saying Salakia. Let me see. Oh, offended by everything and ashamed of nothing, I believe. I believe I believe that's it. And I like that saying because it's very true. Let me see. Offended by ashamed of nothing. Yeah, bear with me, Baba Koshal. Trying to see who came up with that. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I like that saying. It makes it's just a dope saying, and it's definitely relatable. It definitely correlates with Yasharala, man. Israel. Okay, let me continue reading, and we read verse 26. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests and their prophets, saying to a stock, "Thou art my father," and to the stone, "Thou hast brought me forth," for they have turned their back unto me, and not their face, but in the time of their trouble they will say, "Arise and save us." And Jake does that. Jake does that. Jake has a very short attention span. Like, bro, you've been forewarned for some time now. Starting with Abba Bivens, the apostles, bishops, and elders, bro. Jake has been given ample time. You've been given the skinny, man. Just straight up. But what? Nah, y'all ashamed. Y'all ashamed of when you see the apostles, bishops, elders, myself, and other brothers, and then sisters who believe, they on that Israelite stuff. Trying to literally be the best versions of ourselves and trying to do what the Lord required us to do to the best of our ability, because we're not gonna get it right on this side. We're in captivity, and that's not an excuse to act a damn fool, but those who know. you know but that's how our people are moving, though, man. They move carelessly, like children a lot of times, man. When a child is like, man, I don't see mom and daddy, or I don't see big bro, big sis, I'm about to grab this orange juice. What usually happens? Or milk. They spill it everywhere. Jake makes a mess and then expects you to clean it up. And Jake knows the life, the world don't actually operate like that, but they somehow feel they're the exception to the rule, which that is not the case. The exception to the rule is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. Only reason we getting mercy shown to us is because of his sacrifice. Okay. This is verse 28. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Yeah, bro, you had it all figured out. Your little rocks, your stones, your Buddha, or I got me. And when Jake comes in that manner, there's a level of, okay, this Jake may have dealt with some things in times past and dealing with trauma, but that's still no reason to neglect or disrespect our Heavenly Father, because Jake knows there's a higher power. Jake knows there's a higher power. But a lot of Jake got messed over in these churches or started following these other doctrines and so forth. And Jake never really recovered. And Jake has, once again, they have this animosity towards the Most High. They have this resentment. Cause we messed up, bro. Jake tries to paint it as like, nah, the Most High messed. Nah, bro. You messed up, bro. Just straight up and down, man. Okay. So Jake, Jake is going to is getting a wake up call, man. Okay. For, when when you get, Jake only feels bad when and crying for help when the chips are down, when you so called up, everything good. But when the chips is down, you want to play the blame game and so forth. Rather than recognizing your faults and that it ain't the Most High's fault, you want to, play the blame game. Okay. You want to so-called do what's good for your flesh, and the Lord gonna like, all right, bet. Let your God that you pray to deal with that. Let your way of dealing with things, let that suffice, man. Okay. And this is to the 2/3 Jake, and this also goes to Jake who's in the faith, but still, still moving like they, like they believe, but you got resentment towards Yahweh Shah HaMashiach and the Most High, man. But that's all I have on this. And Abaratazah, this is edifying for the body. So once again, with that, call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Waharakakodash Brakatham. I like to give double honors once again to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Achaeon pushing this truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquat that they're listening. Shalom.